Too well.
So introduce yourself.
Do I have to?
Well, you don't have to, because we know who you are.
That sounds really pretentious, isn't it? Like, you should know who I am.
We know who you are.
No. Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. I always wanted to say that. Yeah, what's really good?
This is Triple O.
Yeah, this is Triple O. Like,
and what does he do?
What do? I make music.
Trying to get into this singing thing. Yeah. Like praise and worship leaders, their money's different. No, I'm joking. Don't let me say that. I don't want to upset anyone. But
Gonna get some emails now. Some inboxes.
But yeah, no, we just rapper, writer, wordsmith, poet, lyricist, evangelist, musician, all of the above times.
He's currently got a new album out called
Cry Like a Man.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's technically it's an EP.
Oh.
But then you know what?
People keep on calling it an album. I'm like, am I just being like really pedantic by saying it's EP?
So what's the difference?
The length, number one, because EPs, so albums are like, I would say like 8 songs plus.
There's no rules. There's no rules. But personally, for me, I don't want to classify this as an album because I know what I do to put into an album, and for example, when we look at Flatline and Zero No Equal to One, the first 2 albums, I'm like, I know what goes into it. But I treated this like an album, and everything I do post Telescopes and White Roses, I've treated like an album. So I treated Cry Like a Man like an album, but I would still say it's just an EP because we officially start working on the album very, very soon. And
see, there's an album coming soon. Then.
Oh yeah. And I'm not afraid to say that. I'm just not going to put any dates on it because I've learned from the past not to do that. But yeah, we started working on the album already.
But what inspired you to get into music?
So a few people have heard me tell this story beforehand, but for me, it was how I was brought up musically. So, like, I went to a school in
St. Bonaventure's, and it was notorious for like a lot of grime MCs. So, like,
what school was that?
St. Bonaventure's in Forest Gate.
Oh, okay.
And Tinchy Strider was in my class. Oh, okay. Gracious K was the year below me. DW was a few years above me. So it's like there was just a lot of like grime MCs, and I'm seeing this firsthand, and I'm like, oh, sick, this is cool. I want to do this kind of thing. But it was one of those things where I number one, I wasn't that good when I was younger, and I can be honest with myself in that sense. Then at the same time, I didn't know how to go about it, so I was just writing, and so I started writing, and it must have been about like 14, 15, started writing, and it weren't Christian bars, it weren't Christian verses, it was just verses, but I was always brought up in a Christian home. So I remember one time I was at church and with some of my other friends, and we were having a cypher, and they were all spitting their Christian verses, Christian bars, and then I come with my fake whatever kind of verses, and then I got stopped midway through my verse, and they were like, bro, you don't do none of that, that's not your life, your mom's over there, it's not that deep, like, what are you doing, kind of thing. And I was just like, yeah, it's true. So I had to kind of get to the point where it's like, write what you know, and that's where everything kind of changed.
Might be real, sort of.
Yeah, just be to who you are, and not what you're not. And then I think for my 18th birthday, an auntie in my church, she got me a Cross Movement CD. This was the first ever Christian hip hop album I've ever listened to, and the album was High Definition. Yeah, it was High Definition. And I'd never really checked out Christian hip hop. Like, I listened to gospel, like praise and worship. I never listened to Christian hip hop in my life. And she said, oh, I know you rap. Listen to this. I think you'll like it. I listened to it. I was like, oh, sick. This is real rap. These guys are just like. I think just a combination of that and then finding my faith and developing a greater interest in music kind of just all brought all the pieces of the puzzle together.
So one thing that I've always wanted to know is, why did you choose your name, Triple O?
Oh, there's no deep revelational meaning behind it. I remember there was a time I tried to force one, but we didn't go to it. It's literally my initials. So I'm Nigerian and my full name is Oluwatobi Oyefeso. So it was just like,
okay,
it's a bit of a mouthful. So we just
Triple O.
It's Triple O.
I've seen a Triple H, a Triple R. There's quite a few triples out there.
There is, so that's what I said. Like, if I could go back in time, I would actually just come up with something really a lot more original.
But Triple O, everyone knows Triple O now. So.
Yeah, so it's like, you're here now.
So what you see on your album, Cry Like a Man, what inspired you to? Because I've listened to it and it's quite deep in some places.
Yeah, it is.
So did you just feel that you needed to express yourself, or you just wanted to be real?
Do you know what? Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What was your initial like when you first heard it? Because I actually want to know. I want to pick. Just want to pick him. Like when you actually heard it, what was like your initial like reaction to?
Honest. That's what I got from it. You were just being honest. You were just being yourself, and that's kind of like what you wanted to get across. You just wanted to be you, and kind of relate to what people are going on in real life, and not a facade. That's what I got from it.
What?
My good friend Faith Charles, he once said to me, "Triple, never write something you're not prepared to speak on." And I think that's such a key thing to kind of like that governs my music. And I'm like, all right, cool. If I put it in my music, then when people want to ask you questions, be prepared to answer the questions because you put it in the music. Don't put it in the music and not and start shying away from certain things. When do you know what I'm trying to say? So all right, cool. So Cry Like a Man is inspired by life, real life, my life, and everything I have been through, everything I'm going through, and everything I'm probably yet to go through. And so many times when we're sharing our testimonies, not that this is a bad thing, but we share it from a space of completion and where it's all done and it's an easier story to tell. So, you know, for example, like married couples, like, oh yeah, I used to struggle with fornication, you know, but they're married now. These times they're enjoying in their marital home. And it's so easy to tell that story from a place of safety. Yeah, do you know what I'm trying to say? And I was like, I hear that, but I guess where I am now, I didn't want to necessarily wait to be in a place of. I just wanted to tell it as is, so it's like it's raw. It's like you know when you scrape your knee on the ground and the gaze is still bleeding and stuff. Yeah, it's still fresh. Everything is still fresh.
But I think that's a good thing. I think when people project an image that's not totally true, it can be dangerous. Because then you get people thinking, oh, look at my life. When the reality is the person you're listening to is actually going through the same thing that you're going through. And so what I got from your album is that you are just being, like you've just said, you're just being honest. And so I can listen to that and think, yeah, do you know what? It's not just me. Do you know what I mean? I've struggled, or I'm here, or I've done this as well. And so, yeah, so that's what I really liked about the album. Just raw.
Yeah. Like, my favorite type of music, and I say this all the time, my favorite type of music is music that I can listen to and be like, I connect with that, or I know what that feels like. And that's like the best compliment that anybody can give my music. Like, oh, the lyrics are dope, the production's amazing, whatever. That's cool. But if somebody just says to me, oh, yo, Trips, like, I listened to this and like it moved me, or like I connect, I relate to that, or I know what that's like, and I listen to it, and do you know what I'm trying? Those kind of, I'm like, okay, yeah. Then I'm like, yo, this is, because when I started getting like just a couple of days after release, and I was getting all the messages from people with regards to everything, I was like, bro, this is something. This to me, I've been sitting on this stuff for a year and a half, so it's old to me. To me, it kind of just, you know, when you're like, you've had something for a long time, you're just like, it's just, you forget the value and worth. But to everyone else, it's brand new. So of course they're gonna be like, ooh, kind of thing.
I think it touched a lot of men as well.
Yeah.
Cry Like a Man.
And that's what I wanted to do, from the title to the artwork
To the clock.
did you get the clock reference?
Yeah, the clock. I saw I didn't guess it by myself. I can't lie.
But yeah.
Yeah. If you look on our website,
Yeah.
and you know the feature I did, underneath it's got the scripture.
Sick.
So yeah.
Yeah, and some people got it, some people didn't. But everything was so intricately placed. I was just like I want people to get. Even when we put the track listing out before the EP even came out, people were like, "What? What does that mean? Oh my gosh, That looks interesting." Like, oh, I don't even know what the song. I haven't even heard the song, and already I want to know what that. That's the way that I make music. It's very interesting that you said that like the EP was like really received well from men, or you said it to your cousin, or your cousin listened to it. Is it your cousin?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like for me, one of the things that I realized is that we as men, we don't like to show any signs of vulnerability,
So I thought that was what the title was about. Is that what it was about?
So there's that. So there's it's multifaceted. So it's like, okay, cool. Cry Like a Man in sense of being able to show vulnerability, yeah. But then at the same time, when you, especially not even just in the Bible, but in general, when you cry, that cry is like a call for help sometimes. So there's that angle of like, all right, cool, like ask for help like a man. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Yeah, cry like a man, show vulnerability. Cry like a man in the sense of like ask for help, or cry like a man in terms of that crying doesn't necessarily need to be tears of sadness.
Okay.
They can be tears of joy.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm trying to say? So it's like, all right, cool. There are going to be joyous moments. Like, life has ups and downs. Downs and ups. It's not just all, do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
and there are going to be moments where you have to enjoy. So even when you listen to the project, there are songs like Awesome Gods and It's Going to Be Alright. Because those are tears of joy. Those are moments on the record where it's like, yo, we serve a great God. Or, do you know what? I'm actually in a good space.
You know, It's Gonna Be Alright. That was kind of like I was going through an experience. So I'm listening to it, and I'm hearing the man's testimony.
Oh,
Is that
no,
the
you
right song? Sorry.
the amalgamation of a broken fraction.
Okay, sorry, that one. So I'm hearing the man's testimony, and I'm like, oh. And then as it goes further, it turns into hope, and then I'm like, oh. So it was literally like I don't know, just drank a drink and it was cold, and now it's just like refreshing. Do you know what I mean?
When I arranged the EP, the sequencing was so key. It wasn't just sonically it had to flow. Like there was so much that went into it. Sonically it has to flow, but then conceptually does it make sense? So with Tear Apart Every Tear, track number 1, it's like, all right, cool. Tear Apart Every Tear in the sense of let me tear apart. Let me give you this bravado. Let me pretend that everything's okay. So on the track itself, sonically, it sounds very braggadocious. The flow is quite erratic. It's quite in your face because as men, we like to kind of put on this facade like bam. And then going into light work, it continues that same theme of all right, cool, yeah, this is easy. Like yeah, me personally, the first I'm like, yo, let me show you how nice I am with a pen. Like just to remind you.
Yeah, the metaphors on light work. Sick.
I was like, yo, let me show you how, and that's what we do as men. We like to like hide behind the smoke and mirrors because all of that metaphor stuff is smoke and mirrors. I'm gonna say this now. I'm not saying anything on that first verse. It's just punchlines, but the reason why I did that is because as men, sometimes we use smoke and mirrors to deflect what we're really dealing with. And
Okay.
do you know what I'm trying to say? So it's like, all right, cool, and then we like to say, yeah, that's light work, man. That's calm. But then you realize, all right, cool, no, that's not actually the case. You're dealing with some stuff, like Superman, and then there's like, again, the oxymoron
That's
of like
quite deep as well.
Black Superman was yeah.
See, all the lyrics are coming
Right.
flooding back to my head.
This is it. So it's like the reality of hold on a second, but like you're just giving us this facade that like you're in a good space or like everything's light. It's like no, there's actually real issues here, and you need to unpack and unpack and unpack and unpack, and in the midst of unpacking, like you then get to a space of
I didn't even know I was blocking.
I didn't know she was looking either.
Oopsie daisy.
Oopsie daisy.
Little.
Yeah, like what? Yeah,
Everywhere.
Black Superman unpack the issues. So then, like, when you unpack the stuff that you're going through, or as men, when you start to unpack all these things, you get to a very reflective and contemplative place, and that's where the Colour Hope comes into play, which happens to be a lot of people's favourite song, which is fair
I
enough.
like it.
I like Colour Hope.
I like listening to it in the morning.
It's a very warm song, even though on the first verse I'm talking about like the battles of dealing with suicide, and I think because
Is that a personal experience? Oh, is it really?
yeah.
What since you before Christianity, pre-Christianity?
This is like a couple of years ago,
Oh,
and
really?
then you have little reflexes and stuff like that. But
See, that's what I'm saying. People will look on the outside and think
you see,
everything.
yeah. I think it's all calm, but so it's weird because when you listen to the first verse, it's a really heavy verse, but the song is so melodic and so sweet. I'm not even doing that much rapping on the song, and it's such a very encouraging like chorus as well. And I'm like, yeah, we wrote it like that on purpose because it's such a deep issue, but I don't want people to kind of feel very heavy by it. And then we go into then like when you start reflecting, you really can get inside your thoughts and get lost in your thoughts, and that's where the amalgamation of a broken fraction comes in. And that was literally just like for 5.5 minutes you're inside my head. like, yo, the things that run through my head on a day-to-day basis, and the things that worry me, and the things that scare me, and the things that I'm kind of navigating through, yeah, yo, that's where the amalgamation comes in.
So when you were releasing this EP, were you a bit anxious?
Yeah.
Like, because obviously everyone's going to be in your head
Yeah.
now. People know what you're going through now. You're in a vulnerable position.
Mate,
So,
I was so scared.
I would be.
Especially because, you know what? No, you know what was even more scarier? We had the listening party the day before the release, and the way that I planned the listening party, which was like invite only, I was going to do a lot of. It wasn't just listening to the music. We were gonna talk about everything. We were gonna talk about everything. We were gonna unpack everything. We were gonna dissect it, and then we had some men come and join the panel, and we had some just really good conversation. That night I was so scared for, because I was like, I'm gonna be in a room with my nearest and dearest. Like, you know, you can have deep conversations with people you don't know or who are far away, and then you just be like, and then you just keep it moving because they're not gonna ask you any questions. You're never gonna see them again, or it's just they're so far removed, you kind of detach yourself from it. So you'd be like, you can be really, really nice, and then you keep moving. But I'm like, yo, everyone in here knows me,
And they're going to keep knowing you.
and this is it. So it was like, yo, you're about to have some real honest conversation with the people who are around you, and that was so nerve-wracking. I kept on saying it before the night, on the night, and during the night, and people thought, oh, you're just saying that. And I'm like, nah, gee, this is nerve-wracking. So obviously putting out a project where people can hear stuff like that, even I was with
The whole world now.
this is it. I was with a friend of mine, and we were driving, and she was like, oh yeah, Triple, at the EP launch, there's one song on the EP where you said da 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 da, and I remember just like drinking, and I just nearly almost choked my drink, and I'm like, yo, did he really say that? And I'm like, she was like, yeah, and she has to ask someone, like, did he really? I'm like, yeah. It's like, oh, cool. And I was like, oh yeah, this is like, oh. But again, it's just like the reality of people can stop, hit rewind. If you're online, because I always put my lyrics up online as well, so you can read through it. And I'm just like, yeah, that's just vulnerability to another level. But for me, it's like therapy.
I can see why.
It's like therapy. And then you've got like Awesome God, where it's just like, I said, alright, cool. Even though you're going through everything we're going through in life, which we do, but you have to give it to God. That's where it then comes around like, okay, cool, God, you know what? I'm gonna just give this to you.
Give some advice to someone who wanted to get into the industry. What would you tell them? Just say, yeah.
Love your craft, and be grateful for your audience, no matter how big or small. Not everybody's going to do the Wembley Arena. I would love to do Wembley Arena.
I saw your footage on your Instagram.
Recently, I did a schools tour in Scotland, and we were in Dunfermline, working with some young kids, and we were up there for the whole week, and then we had a concert at the end of the week, and that was incredible. And this year there were some amazing shows coming up, and I'm grateful for that. I don't think I'm still where I want to be, but I may never be where I see myself, where I would like to be. So the mindset I always kind of run with, and I encourage other people to run with, is whatever you do it for one but before many. Whatever you do it for one but before many. So the mindset of, I'm doing this unto God first and foremost. I just so happen to be doing it before all you guys. So I'm gonna, if I have that mindset, it means that when I'm doing what I'm doing, whether it be performing, whether it be whatever industry you may be in, it means you're giving 100% because you're doing it unto God. And whoever is witnessing that, whether it's a crowd of 10, a crowd of 1,000, or a crowd of 10,000 or whatever, then God's gonna be like, okay, you were faithful with the little, I'm gonna give you more. So hence the reason why I said be grateful for your audience, because I've done shows where there's 5, 6, 7 people in the audience. I've done them shows, and I don't, my performance does not change any differently in terms of energy, and to when I've done 5 or 7 people, or when I've done shows where there's been 400, 500 people, or the bigger shows. You know what I'm trying to say? For me, my mindset is it's not going to change, because be grateful for your audience, and then coming back full circle, whatever you do it for one but before many. And that's the advice that I would give to anybody looking to kind of come into the industry. Like, come in with that mindset, and love your craft, in the sense of whatever you do, like, don't, if you see it as a chore, then the nights where stuff gets happen, because things are gonna happen. Things are gonna happen, and the time when those things happen, you then have to say to yourself, is this a hassle for me to deal with, or will I be like, no, I'm gonna push through, put the hours in, because I genuinely love what I'm doing.
Need it.
Yeah.
We need it.
But so I had a nice conversation with Triple A.
Yeah, this is cool. I like this. This is like,
We need it.
Yeah.
We need it.
But so I had a nice conversation with Triple A.
Yeah, this is cool. I like this. This is like really comfortable and cozy. It's really nice in here.
I hope you've enjoyed
Yeah.
our conversation.
I hope you guys enjoyed.
We've just been chilling and literally enjoying the conversation, talking about all different things. And so, thank you for coming.
No, thank you for having me. Honestly speaking, it was nice, just a dialogue. I like good dialogue.
And follow
At Triple O Music, www.tripleomusic.com. Everything's there.
and follow at No Shame Records
No Shame Records.
on Insta,
Come on.
Facebook,
Come on.
Twitter,
Come on.
Twitterish.
Yeah.
Not so strong on Twitter, but yeah,
But
Twitter.
get them as well. Just
But
hit
yeah,
them
and
up.
www.noshamerecords. I can't even say it.
Do you want to try again?
I need to. He should do it because he's really good at spitting really fast.
www.noshamerecords.com.
.com. And you can see this interview there.
There you go.